Visit TitanSupply.ca.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Morning. Thank you for tuning in to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick, Country Mac with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Hope you guys are having a great start to your Thursday. Staying warm because it is a little bit chilly out there. Throw on that extra layer if you haven't left the house yet. It's only going to get colder. I'm not going to say start your car because I don't know if that's really allowed anymore, but if you're dangerous, you could risk it. Get the thing going a little bit. Maybe get in there first and sit in it because, temperature dropping just a little bit here. It is a game day edition of Fantasy Frenzy. The Edmonton Oilers hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight down at Rogers Place. Nice little 7 o'clock puck drop. Oilers and Penguins. Sidney Crosby in town. Tristan Jarry going to get the start. Back-to-back games. An interesting move there. Jarry against his former team. Stuart Skinner will not play for the Pittsburgh Penguins as he played last night for the Pens. Should be a fun one. We'll have pregame coverage for you here, beginning at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro. The show brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Go check them out. Available in Leduc. Maybe you're not going to the game tonight, but you want to grab some snacks beforehand. Wilhauk Beef Jerky. It's a spot to be. Grab a couple bags because you'll finish one on the way home. No doubt about it. Brandon Douglas here as well. Duke, good morning. How you doing today?
Morning, Connor. I'm doing pretty well. No complaints. It is getting a little chillier out there. You're right. But, hey, it's, late January, mid to late January. What do we expect? That little nice stretch we had, that was a blessing, not the norm.
A blip on the radar, perhaps.
Correct. The weather radar, maybe even.
This is what you want. No, it's...
Isn't necessarily what you want, but it's what you expect.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to get that cold snap, just like we'll probably get one in Feb. And then, we'll be teased a little bit going into April and March, and then you'll get a random snowfall in May. We're used to it. It is what it is. Let's talk a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, we can talk some NFL today as well via the text line at 1-833-401-1440. We've got the AFC and NFC championship games coming up this weekend. Patriots in Denver to take on the Broncos without Bo Nix. On the NFC side, should be a fun one. Divisional rivals, the Seahawks and the Rams. I think proving that is the top division in the NFL. But let's go to the Oilers. Kasperi Kapanen is on the ice today. It is an optional skate. He is out there. As I mentioned, Tristan Jarry going to get this start for the Oilers. Stuart Skinner not going to be playing. And it does look like that it's going to be 11-7 again. I think there were some hopes that, maybe we'd have Leon Draisaitl back from Germany. Maybe Kasperi Kapanen gets out there. Ideally, I think you got to get back to it. Regula played, under 3 minutes in the game on Tuesday night. That's just, you don't need that. So hopefully they'll find a way to go back to the traditional 12-6 Duke. But hey, with the Pittsburgh Penguins in town, Sidney Crosby still a marquee ticket. Geno Malkin, of course. Duke, you got the Critters tonight. How much is that going to interfere with your Oilers watching this evening?
Oh, it'll interfere. All right, Connor. But catch the game on the drive home, perhaps, without Kevin tagging along, because he's going to go to the game, a home contest, do his journalistic responsibility and attend in person. He normally bullies everyone else to watching the game on the bus. I hook up the laptop on the modern technology that our coach buses these days. I don't know if that'll be as popular without Kevin there to push it. Yeah. I'll bring all the necessary equipment, and if people are interested on the drive home, we can certainly indulge. But otherwise, I'll just be playing catch up once I arrive back to my apartment in the later hours of the evening, approaching on wee hours of the morning. So that'll be fine. I'm looking forward to the game. You know, Sid Crosby, Geno Malkin, the timeless wonders, particularly for Crosby, and chance to see Tristan Jarry once again go up against his old team. I do think there's a little bit of disappointment for those of us in Edmonton. We have to assume that Stuart Skinner's getting it some sort of tribute, whether it be like what we got or what we saw for Connor Brown and Corey Perry, where it's just a little banner, or maybe a more extended highlight reel, some of his biggest saves, you know, pulling off wins in the Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 7 Cup final, whatever. We don't know what the Oilers have in store, but he will have to receive that from the bench as tonight's backup instead, as he played last night in Calgary. So a little bit of disappointment there, but looking forward to it all the same.
Yeah. And, you know, he's going to get his video. He's going to get his little mention. And I'm sure for that situation, it'll be applause. That's typically how it happens. And, you know, he's not going to be on the ice to get booed. So kind of a good situation, I think, for Stuart Skinner. I don't know if he'd be booed anyways. Maybe some people would. That's kind of the treatment you get when you come back to Edmonton, or any market really. But for Stuart Skinner, he'll get that video, he'll give the wave, and then the Edmonton Oilers will try to bounce back from their loss on Tuesday against the New Jersey Devils. They've had some success against the Penguins in the past. I think, you know, for the Penguins, with the players they have on that team, you do get your best effort from a lot of teams. Guys trying to show up when you're playing a guy like Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid's future teammate at the Olympic Games once they get going. It should be a fun one tonight. As we mentioned, we'll have coverage from now until puck drop with the Lowdown Flow Tide, the Jason Greger Show, and then, of course, pregame coverage with Andrew Walker. We are getting close. There's going to be, obviously, the NHL kind of roster freeze as the Olympics come. That's going to start on February 4th. And then you got the deadline, March 6th, I believe. So, Duke, when it comes to Artemi Panarin, he's kind of the big name out there. I want to ask you, is there any spots you would like to see him land? And let's take away the Anaheim Ducks. I'm sure you'd love him in Anaheim.
Nope, too many players already. No room for him.
Can't make that move. Like, is there a landing spot for Panarin that you like?
There's two that really jump out at me, and it's Carolina. Always in the mix, seemingly to land some of the bigger fish that are on the market. We saw them get Rantanen last year. Yeah. Couldn't get an extension in place. They then flip them and recoup assets. Maybe they do something similar, or they pay a lower price with the full understanding that it is purely a rental for them for the remainder of this year. And then the Russian connection in Minnesota is one that intrigues me as well, with Kirill Kaprizov up there. I think Minnesota needs a centerman more than they need another winger, but that's still not a bad problem to have if all of a sudden you've got the options of Matt Boldy, Kirill Kaprizov, and all of a sudden Artemi Panarin as three of your top four wingers in your lineup. You know, all of a sudden the centerman position, you don't feel as bad about plugging in some, you know, guys that are playing above their pay grade there maybe. So those are two spots that jump out at me. Wonder about a potential reunion in Chicago. Is that something that the Blackhawks would entertain? The fans, the organization, most people around the hockey world were a little dumbfounded when they initially traded him away for financial reasons to Columbus to get Brandon Saad back and try and get the old boys club back together. The Blackhawks are a team back on the rise. Panarin's an older player there. He's familiar with the area, the city. Interested. That one would be lower on my list as likely, but one I'd be, you know, gauging interest on all the same.
I do like that pick when you say the Minnesota Wild, because in that division, obviously the Dallas Stars loaded, Colorado Avalanche, we know how good they are. You do kind of have to make some moves to try and compete and try to hang around in there, because, you know, it's going to happen. You're going to get one of those two teams in the first round. So you have to be ready for it. You don't want to waste 2 weeks and just walk out. So that is a one I do like. And then, like, you know, we've had some people saying potential KHL for Panarin next year. Maybe, but I think, if he's got a chance to stick with a contender, you certainly take a look at that. IMAX is, of course, starting is still a thing. Basically, every new vehicle comes with an app for starting it. Fire it up. And then it says, the day I can't let the car run to warm up is the day we should quit driving. On note, how do you warm up an electric vehicle? I think you just
can't you start it and then like the heat, like you're not. So the warm up thing is twofold because you do need to technically warm up your engine. Now a gas engine actually only needs like a minute to cycle everything through and be warm enough. Diesel engine's a little bit longer, but it's more. I think bigger priority for most people is warming up the interior of the vehicle. Get the heated seats cooking, so as soon as you sit on it, you get a little sizzle on your pants, maybe even, and the defroster going, all that jazz. That has to still be a priority for electric vehicle drivers, does it not? Get the inside of the vehicle warmed up.
Want to be warm,
I don't know how it works. Can you remote start an electric vehicle? Like, I know you can, but do they have that function? I genuinely don't know.
Well, if someone has an electric vehicle, let us know. I certainly do not. But yeah, I mean, hey, leaving West Edmonton Mall, my Jeep's going to be started up a little bit beforehand. Text into the YouTube chat here. We got Frank, we got Dean. Question here. Really curious how the backup quarterback will be for the Broncos going up against the Patriots. Well, I think that's a lot of people's question. And Jarrett Stidham, I mean, this isn't like a rookie, a guy who's never been around the block. Like, he's 29 years old. He's been a part of a couple organizations. So, hopefully has that ability to learn things quick. The team did bring in Ben DiNucci. He's not going to play. He's great. Does great content, and Sam Ellinger is there as well. But yeah, like, it's a pretty inexperienced quarterback room without Bo Nix. And even Bo Nix, I mean, he played a lot of college football. We know that. Only in his second year. I'm curious to see, because for the most part, backup quarterbacks have a really good grasp of the offense. They're in all the installs, obviously. They back and forth with the starting quarterback all the time. I think a lot of these really good quarterbacks almost handpick their backup. Like, we're keeping him because he's my buddy and we do good work together. Like, they are very important for a long time. Who was it? Hoyer with Brady. He had Sorgi with the Colts and Peyton Manning. You have those guys, he's going to know the offense is basically what I'm saying. It's just going to be out there. Can he go out there and execute? J.K. Dobbins, we've heard some reports. They open up the practice window for him to return. That'd be massive to add to their backfield with R.J. Harvey. And I mean, I'm intrigued. He spent would have been 1 year with Tom Brady, probably learned some things. Had to play a few games the following year. Got a couple starts with with the Raiders, and then with the Denver Broncos a couple of years ago. And Sean Payton likes him enough to keep him around. So I wonder if it's maybe a bit of a simpler offense to begin with, just kind of get him warmed up, get him into the action. But that being said, that Patriots defense is quite good. I mean, Christian Gonzalez is a lockdown corner. That defensive line can get pressure. I would say my expectations, Duke, are kind of low for Jarrett Stidham, but he could surprise us. Like, hey, Nick Foles did it. We've seen it before in the past. Backup quarterbacks, they're in the league for a reason. They're pretty damn good. And although it's not as good as Bo Nix, it's the NFL. Anything can happen. What do you think the odds are that we see Jarrett Stidham come out here and run the offense good enough to win?
Good enough to win. I'm interested. Like, I'm not writing the Broncos off and giving the Patriots essentially, pass go, collect your $200 and head to the Super Bowl. I'm not at that stage just yet. The veteran presence matters. This is a guy that Sean Payton really covets. He's brought him back as the backup on a pretty decent price tag, like expensive for what a backup quarterback makes. I think he just, like, what have we seen from Bo Nix this year that has really wowed us? The fourth quarter comebacks, the late game heroics, yes. But am I out of line saying that I don't think he has looked as good as he did in his rookie season overall? I can't
say I was wowed by him in his rookie year.
So maybe he's comparable then, right? So he's not replacing Jaden Daniels. He's not replacing Lamar Jackson. These dynamic quarterback, Josh Allen, these guys that can do so many different things. Now, Bo Nix is good with his legs, but we had Brandon Cristal from Denver on this morning to talk about the game from a Broncos perspective. And he said, like, Stidham's no statue back there in his starts. Like, the track record shows that he's put up over 30 rushing yards, I think, in every start he's made. in the NFL. So whether that's just his scrambling out of pressure, I firmly believe the Broncos are live in this game. I probably will bet them to cover the points. Don't know if I'll get as greedy to take them to win outright, but to cover 4.5 or 5.5, depending where you're looking, I'm interested in that for sure.
Yeah, and Kenneth says, hey, spread's only 4.5 points. You do have to give the Denver Broncos defense a lot of credit. Like, that is a really good group they have there. They've built that up. They can get after the quarterback. And when you look at the games for the New England Patriots, against the Texans, Drake May had 4 fumbles, lost 2. Against the Chargers, he had 2 fumbles, lost 1. Quick math tells me he's fumbled the ball 6 times, lost 3 of them. He's been sacked 5 times in each of those games. So the Denver Broncos defense, if they can get after it, it's not like they can't keep them in the game. Like, and go back to the Chargers game. For a long period in that game, it was 9-3. Like, if it wasn't a blowout, they got the late touchdown to Hunter Henry. Go back to the Patriots-Texans game. For a long period, it was 21-16. Texans were right there in the game. And then it was Keyshawn Boutte who made the great catch. So, like, the Patriots haven't been dominant in the playoffs. Not too many teams are, right? You're not typically seeing the Seahawks performance from Saturday night. It's high-level competition. The Broncos defense, I think, can keep them in it. I don't think it's crazy to think that they won't linger around in there. And then it just comes down to making plays when it matters. And that's what I think the Patriots have done so well in these playoffs, is when they need a play, Drake May can make it. Steps up when he has to. Granted, his defense has really helped him out. CJ Stroud had the 4 interceptions. Justin Herbert didn't throw any interceptions, but couldn't get anything going through for an average of 5.1 yards per pass. CJ Stroud, 4.5 yards per pass. So they weren't doing too much damage through the air. It's going to set up a fun Sunday, Duke. Like, this game might be slow and like defensive. You know, 2 teams like
slugging it out.
Let's win the field position battle. And let's, you know, if we have to punt, that's fine. Settle for 3. That's great. Rams Seahawks might be the opposite, right? Like, 2 good defenses, but a couple good offenses. And we've seen some exciting matchups when they play. So I'm fired up for this weekend in the NFL. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll get to more of your texts at 1-833-401-1440. You can also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM and get in on the chat there. If you are watching there, make sure to hit that like button. It is Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Will Hawk Beef Jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
The Hockey Super League is proud to launch its 9th season, delivering independent, borderless hockey. This year, over 125 teams will compete across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and for the first time ever, Colorado, USA, which showcase style action, cross-province rivalries, and a strong commitment to player development. The HSL is the premier destination for families seeking balance and athletes chasing the next level. The Hockey Super League. Hockey without limits. For athletes born in 2013 to 2018, visit hockeysuperleague.com to learn more.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vinny and Donnan have to offer. Visit vinnyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with Tritum, tandem, and single-axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, plows, man lifts, pickers, refuse trucks, and more. Info at maauctions.com.
It's the best Honda, it's the place for service too. I love it. I love my Honda place. Would you buy? It's the place.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring graders, forklifts, wheel loaders, man lifts, mini excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, plus commercial trailers and sea cans. Info at maauctions.com.
Who should start? Who needs to hit the bench? Find out with Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It is Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick. We've got intern Mackenzie with us as well. You can reach the show 1-833-401-1440. Game days. The Oilers are set to take on the Penguins tonight just after 7 o'clock. Pre-game coverage here on Sports 1440 starting at 6. And the show, as always, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Check them out at willhawkbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. We'll keep the text rolling in here. This segment will be brought to you by elksnation.ca, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth W football coverage you'll find on the internet and beyond. Check it out, elksnation.ca. You can listen or watch wherever you get your podcasts and such. We were talking some NFL. We had Nikki Northside saying, pretty sure that Stidham was the top dual-ranked quarterback coming out of high school. Yes, he was. No doubt about it. He was ahead of Kyler Murray in their draft class, Juwan Jennings, converted receiver, Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Trying to find any more names that you might recognize. It drops off a little bit after that. But here's what I will tell you. Keenan Allen was once the top-ranked safety in his draft class. I don't put much stock into coming out of high school, what your ranking was. Jarrett Stidham was a backup quarterback in the NFL. That being said, Nikki, he can move. He can run around a little bit, and that can make some plays. And I don't have to tell anyone listening, like, third and short, when you have a quarterback that can run, that opens things up. And all you need is one little hole, and could be gone. So, yeah, it's a good point. The guy can move. Fantasy football dynasty question from Big Dooley. Says, I've got the 1st and 4th overall pick, full PPR, flex position that you can start a quarterback. 3 years on all guys, 4 years on rookies. Available. Allen, Lamar, Chase, Amon-Ra, Love. Oh, Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. Cook, Collins. Leaning to Allen for the 1st pick. Choice on who may be left. Your take, please. So if you go Josh Allen first, you're set for a while. Hope they maybe bring in a a solid quarterback or a coach, help him out there. Maybe add a receiver or two. Feels like Keon Coleman's time might be done. That's interesting. I kind of like the Jeremiah Love look like at 4 because I think he's going to be a stud. Now, depends where he goes and how patient are you. Like, we know that eventually Ashton Genty did break out for the Raiders and, had some big games, but there were some struggles. There were some slow games. If Love goes to a team that has a similar offensive line, it might be a little slow, but you have him for 4 years, so that's a benefit. Jamar Chase would be nice. Monner would be nice. I think you're set up for a pretty good spot. I don't know if I'm as high on Collins, with all due respect, Duke. Guy's a beast, actually. He could be good too, like consolation, but either way, you're going to get a really good player. So I don't know if you heard that, Mr. Brandon Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
If Josh Allen goes first, he's got the option. He's probably not going to go Lamar, but maybe Chase, Amon-Ra, Love, Cook, Collins. Some good picks. I don't know necessarily how it'll play out, but either way, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, if all of a sudden, and so he said it's a dynasty question, but my reading of this seems more as like the keeper league. Is my understanding here, right? Where you're talking about 3 years on all guys, 4 years and a rookie. That's all. To me, a dynasty roster is you keep the same team year in and year out, regardless, and they never expire. But to each their own definitions. If Jamar Chase is still there at 4th for your second pick, that's to pair with your quarterback of Josh Allen or Lamar, if you were to choose that way. That's my first inclination. With these type of names available, I don't think I'd be jumping for Jeremiah Love at that spot. I get it. You get an extra year of a keeper on him, but like Jeremiah Love's going to be the first overall pick in a true, like a rookie dynasty draft, I would think this year, but I'm not sure I'd be reaching that high for him with some of these other names that are still out there. Like James Cook just won the rushing title.
Yeah.
So I think him or Chase would maybe be my top picks on that second choice. Superflex league, I think a quarterback first overall does seem like the top choice.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I do like Love, but where is it going to be? Scrolling
Good
through a little
question.
mock draft.
I've seen him land in New Orleans on a lot of mock drafts.
That's exactly where I found him on this mock draft. Maybe we're looking at the same mock draft.
Oh, I look at all the mock drafts, Cons. Especially now the Texans are out, my focuses are all leaning towards my Dynasty League's rookie draft come August. Got to be prepped. I don't think I have a first round pick, but I might have to do some wheeling and dealings.
Yeah, you have to. You got to get back into that first round.
I took so many rookies last year, and some of them were good, some of them not so much.
It is funny because as we just talked about, I did mention at MTR that Juwan Jennings was a higher ranked QB dual threat than Lamar and Burrow coming out of high school. Doesn't mean a lot. Yeah, so much of it is what you do from there on. And Lamar Jackson was behind Sam Darnold as a dual threat quarterback. As a passer, maybe. The athleticism that Lamar has is crazy. It's interesting to go through. I'm on the next year after, just trying to find the dual threat quarterbacks. Not many get into the NFL. Only one, actually, it looks like. Jalen Hurts, who was the number one dual threat quarterback. He was the 104th ranked prospect that year. Number one prospect in 2016, Rashawn Gary. Good player. Dexter Lawrence, number 2. Greg Little. I think he's in the league. Derek Brown. There's some Ed Oliver. There you go. Nick Bosa was number 10. Some good players. I have done this before where I just go back and look at all high school recruiting classes. You scroll down long enough, you'll find someone. Ken says the thin air could be an issue in Denver. It's true.
New England's never won a playoff game in Denver.
Oh.
Or at Mile High, maybe is the more specific response. And those were all the Brady years.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget the interception that Champ Bailey had. And then was it Benjamin Watson chasing him down and getting him right at the goal line? It was like a huge moment in playoff history between those two teams. I've never really felt the impact of thin air. Obviously,
like
I'm not a pro athlete. Yeah, personally. I've never gone and played at Mile High, but the oxygen tanks for sure will be out. I wonder if you get in a couple days earlier just to try to get used to it. There's kind of that debate. I'm not smart enough to weigh in on it, but like getting in there.
There's an acclimation.
Well, yeah, but like you go back to the games in Mexico City and some teams try to like get in just before and get out, right? So it doesn't impact them that much. Listen.
We've seen the same thing with the time change, like when teams going to London and other years. So it's like we've seen teams implement the leave as soon as you finish your previous week's game and spend the whole week there. We've seen teams do like a 2-day turnaround. You just fly in, play in, fly out essentially. So I'd be interested to see some numbers and that tracks all this stuff and what strategies teams have used. And if there is a trend that some have been more successful than others, but I don't know. I mean, that's the benefit of having, being the top seed, getting to play on home field, I suppose, if you are the Broncos, that it does matter at least a little bit, I guess.
I would totally agree with you. If I went to go play in Europe, Duke, I'd be like Russell Wilson, doing high knees on the plane and stuff like that, making teammates uncomfortable.
Like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Come on, boys. We got to limber up. Got a big game this week.
Dude, we're on here for another 6 hours still.
It is cool, though, because the Chargers went to Brazil, and I don't know the exact time of that flight, but it was a long one. And, they have it down. Like, all right, guys, we'll get on the plane, you have a meal, and then you're going to sleep. That's it. This is what you have to do. When we land, we wake up, we practice, and you just keep it rolling. They have their sleep science people there trying to take care of everything, and, they beat the Chiefs, so who am I to judge? 1-833-401-1440. That is the text line if you want to get in on the conversation today. I want to ask our listeners here. Obviously, the start going to Tristan Jarry, taking on his former team. We saw it once before. Worked out pretty good for the Oilers. Back-to-back starts. Coming off the injury, any concern going back-to-back? For me, I would say no. I think that he's got to ramp up the workload a little bit. Are we going to see him run 3, 4, 5 games in a row? I don't think so. I think Connor Ingram can jump in there and give you some quality starts in between, give him a bit of a break. But I do like this decision for the Edmonton Oilers to go with him against his former team once again. Obviously, he knows their tendencies. They know his. A lot of it's going to come down to the Oilers defending and doing a better job of that, which we've seen them do as of late. Still in the last 4 games, they've only allowed 3 goals. So doing some pretty good defensive work there. But Duke, do you like the decision to go back with Tristan Jarry tonight?
I do, if maybe for nothing else, to play against your old team again, right? I think that teams in separate conferences get this opportunity so little, and does it really matter to the players? I don't know. Jarry obviously appears happy to the opportunity to play for Edmonton and probably chase a Stanley Cup over the next couple of seasons, but you spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh, and maybe it is a little, if nothing more than sentimental value, to go up against your old team, and he played well. The other night. I mean, maybe the one goal you don't love, but I definitely don't think he's the reason you lost the game to the Devils. He only scored 1 goal, as you said yesterday, Connor, right? So I'm indifferent. I'd be fine with either way. I kind of thought they might just go with a straight rotation back and forth between him and Ingram heading into the Olympic break, but if they're going to kind of push a little bit and see how Jarry responds to back-to-back starts, I'm perfectly on board with that choice too.
Yeah. And you go back to that last game, I'll always say, if your goalie's keeping you within 1 goal, then he's giving you a chance. You're still 1 shot away from evening things up. The last time these two teams did meet, the classic moment where Leon Draisaitl scored his 1,000th point and they celebrated right there with Stuart Skinner. Awkward scene for sure. Skinner, I thought Skinner handled it quite well, though. Just put your head down.
What else are you going to do? People are like, I wish he just skated over there and joined in the huddle. Well, he can't do that.
Maybe a stick tap, maybe.
If we're being realistic. But, I don't know. How else did you want him to handle it? Stand there, take care of your business, and you let in a goal. You're trying to win the game for your team. Reset and get ready for the next puck drop, even if it comes a little bit later than normally after a goal against.
And the quick start last time these two teams met was great for the Oilers, scoring 2 goals in 14, 15 seconds on the power plays. That was Hyman and Connor McDavid. Got off early in the second period. Matt Savoy scored a goal. Carlson did keep it within 2, and then Evan Bouchard scored. So every time it seemed like last time these two teams met, the Oilers would respond pretty quickly. Danton Heinen got that late goal. That was his first of the season and kind of messed up the save percentage for Tristan Jarry. I think took him below 900, which I vividly remember Oilers fans texting in saying, well, Stuart Skinner would have done that. They won 6-4. It was a good game for the Oilers, and they'll look to try to keep that going tonight. Then they won't get Stuart Skinner. That was, of course, who got the start last time these two teams met, but getting that quick start, scoring first, we know how big that's been for the Edmonton Oilers. When they don't score first, it hasn't gone quite as good for them. Greater Man Jay says, hey, boys, as a goalie, would it be scary to go against your former team knowing that your goalie coach knows all your weaknesses? I think in certain situations, Duke, but a lot of times if you kind of handle yours, like play the fundamental position, you also know their tendencies and where they like to shoot. So who has the advantage?
That's exactly it, right? The catch-22 is like, all right, well, yeah, they shoot on you every day in practice, so they kind of know where you like to lean, or if you're in a spot where you might have to try and guess a little bit, they know that tendency. But at the same time, if it's a bang-bang thing and a shooter is just running off pure instinct, they stop you in practice every day, so they know the exact same thing. I don't know if there's a huge advantage either way. I think the largest advantage goes to shooters these days because they've gotten so good in like the release points and how quickly they get off their stick. The reaction time for goalies is so minute to try and make a save in that fashion. It's more about being in the right spot and to an extent hoping it hits you. But yeah, I don't know. I don't lean too much or read too much into that on either side of the coin.
Yeah. I mean, if it was Stuart Skinner, I'm sure the Oilers would probably look at it and say, hey, let's try to get him going side to side, right?
Let's light them up. Yeah, and like the scouting report, every team has them.
Yeah.
What you might scout in your own practices against your own goalie isn't going to differ that much from what other teams' pro scouts look finding game film on the same guy.
Yeah. Either way, if you're a former Oilers goaltender, you're like, damn, I got McDavid in tonight, not Draisaitl, but you just gotta hope and pray and figure out I hope you can get it done. Arturs Sheelau is going to get the start for the Penguins. Remember, we thought he would be the future in Vancouver, Duke, or at least a backup.
They're like, nope. Kevin Lankinen's our man.
Why?
Thatcher Demko cannot stay healthy.
Ship him off to Pittsburgh. Let him go play with.
Sure, Speck was sad to see old Artie Sheelovs go, fellow Latvian, national pride.
Yeah, absolutely. Wild what the Vancouver Canucks have done this year.
Done or not done?
Not done.
Fell into, trended downwards on. Yeah, I think they're the worst team in the league. I know statistic, like from a standings point, but just watching them play. And they snapped their skid last night with a win, but still, that Saturday game against the Oilers in particular was about as ugly as it gets.
If you are, give me an NHL GM. Okay, you're Bill Guerin.
Bill Guerin.
Let's go with Bill Guerin.
Got there the same
we talked about trading to the Wild, and he's like, you called him, hey, EP40 available. What you want him? And then Vancouver, Bill's like, okay, what do you want for him? What is the response? And how much do they have to retain for you to even say, okay, I guess so. We know he can be good. He's done it before, but that contract is massive. There's a lot of reasons maybe not to want him. But if you're an NHL GM, what's it going to take?
So the contract runs through 2032. I'm not sure you're going to get a ton of salary retainment because of purely on the length of it, but maybe a little bit, like a few $1 million held back to turn him into a $9 or a $10 million player instead of an $11.6 million one. Whew. If you're the Canucks, can you expect a huge return?
No.
You want to unload this deal so you can kind of fully bottom out, right? Is that fair to say?
I think so.
Since his 100-point season, where this deal came from, and he followed that up with an 89-point year, and then the new deal kicked in. 45 points, 29 points this year, just 15 goals last year. You still need, he's only 27. You know it's still in there somewhere. Is he broken mentally? Is it like a technical thing that's going wrong with them? Is it purely confidence in playing for this Canucks team the past couple of seasons has completely drained him of any confidence? I don't know the answers to that. Probably only Elias Pettersson does. I'd still be willing to give up if I was a team maybe just starting to get back on the rise. Sharks, Blackhawks. I'd probably be interested. Price has to be right on acquisition cost, not the contract per se, but the acquisition cost assets. But I would be interested still. He's only 27.
And it's funny because this year, if you go just based on pace, like 25, 26 goals, that'd be the third lowest of his career.
Yeah.
Like last year was bad at 15. in 2020, 2021, only played 26 games, had 10 goals. But before that, 27, 28, 32, 39, 34.
He seemed like a walking 30-goal scorer, like just a bucket, walking bucket. And like the two-way play has been so good. That year where he was 102, 89 points, like Selke type candidate centerman to go along with the offensive production. But these past couple of years have really soured opinion on him in Vancouver, amongst the fans, amongst the team, you would think, and probably across the rest of the league that's doing some scouts on this guy, trying to deem if he's worth investing something in and bringing in to try and turn him around. I don't know. It would have to be the right situation if I were a GM to be interested.
Yeah. And then, you know, there's always going to be like that. We're always going to link him with JT Miller, and, you know, what went on
Could
there.
actually just trade him 1-for-1. Get Miller back in, send EPO.
Did they make the right decision? Probably. Yeah, I mean, that's just an intriguing one for me. Just like you said, the length of the contract, the amount, the lack of production. But there's a player there. Well, I wonder if any team will be making a call and trying to make something happen here. Some nice videos right now, actually, on the internet. If you check out Sports 1440's X account, at Sports 1440, some Stuart Skinner content, hanging out, giving some Oilers some hugs, saying hello. So go pay us a little visit there at Sports 1440 and make sure you follow. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll let you know what's coming up on the Lowdown with Lowtide and the Jason Greger Show. It is Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
When the ground freezes, you wonder how anything can get done. And instead of staying outside in temperatures that would make a polar bear cry, you head inside where it's toasty and warm. But that's not what GS Construction does. Because while the ground freezes above, we plan below, rebuilding and revitalizing the systems that keep our communities working year after year. Now, don't worry. GS Construction promises to do everything safely and efficiently, and we'll wear our extra warm clothing outside. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
This Sunday, it's high-impact family fun that's second to none.
See Oil Rumble 3, an afternoon of wrestling in Ice District. Catch all the slap shots and suplexes as your Edmonton Oil Kings battle the Saskatoon Blades.
It's Family Fun Sunday with face painting, bouncy castles, plus pregame and intermission Love Pro Wrestling matches.
And Calamont Kids food combos are $10 or less. Value that hits harder than a steel folding chair.
Edmonton, Saskatoon, Family Fun Sunday, and Oil Rumble at Rogers Place.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
It's the baby Honda, it's the place for service too. I love it. I love my Honda taste. Would you buy?
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:45. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas with you here. We got Max, the intern, and Josh Fenwick keeping us on track on the air and on video. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Go check us out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. We would appreciate it greatly. The show is brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. Matt Leduc sexy. Drury is desperate. Maybe he'll take EP. Could you imagine they reunite the two? JT Miller and Ellis Pettersson. That would be funny. That would be absolutely hilarious. Duke, you said the trade should be 1-for-1. Send Miller back to Vancouver.
Yeah, give it another try.
Shake things up, you know? When will the next Drury statement be released, do you think? On social media?
Under a year. Under a month.
All right, guys, it's me, Drury. I'm back. We're blowing this thing up. It's just not working. And I'm resigning. Got to get out of here. We got a text here. Northside Adam. It's because I drafted him. Did you draft? You're saying you drafted EP this year? Hoping for a bounce back season? I mean, hey, I'd be tempted late in an NHL draft. Obviously, it hasn't worked out. 29 points in 42 games. Could be worse. Could be a lot better, though. This team had high hopes for him, taking him 5th overall back in 2017. Right after Cale Makar. Just looking back at that draft, Duke, I don't know if you would know, but Nolan Patrick, is he officially retired?
I think so.
The concussions and injuries just piled up for him. That was too bad because he was a very good player with the Wheat Kings. Had a pretty good start to his career too. 13 goals first 2 years. That was a good draft though. Miro Heiskanen, Makar, Casey Middlestad in there, Tippett, Nick Suzuki, great pick.
Yeah, the Vegas, that was their first draft. They had 3 first-round picks and have traded all of them away. I think they might have traded all of them away with the exception of Peyton Krebs before. Either like Glass and Brandstrom never played a game for Vegas, I think, before being traded. And then Krebs was kind of just cutting his teeth before being in the Eichel trade.
Cody Glass got into 2 seasons with Vegas.
Okay.
But then was traded. Listen, I have the power of hockey to be in front of me. I'm not just like ripping these things off.
You're just a smart guy.
I don't know these things at all. The things I don't know I could write a book. Tyler Yamamoto, the Oilers pick in that draft. And I would say not a bad pick when you go back and look at it. Hindsight always being 2020. But yeah, anywho. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. Northside Adam says, yes, I did draft him. Well, hey, maybe I'll get traded to the San Jose Sharks and pop off. Craig and Red Deer says, hey guys, is Chris Drury the current worst general manager in the NHL? Craig and Red Deer? Yeah, bro, maybe.
Tough to disagree
at this point.
Since Kevin Adams was ousted in Buffalo.
Yeah, I think so. How long was Kevin Adams in Buffalo?
A long time.
Because they
8 years.
It made they drafted well, but maybe it was just because you're drafting so high, tough
You
to
rush
miss.
guys in.
But they also sent guys out that would just go win cups.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Who's the best GM in the NHL right now?
Who?
Somebody
Bill
else.
Zito says Mackenzie the intern.
Yeah, good point.
I think what Brisebois has done in Tampa Bay since taking over for Steve Yzerman is very admirable. Tampa's done a really good job of kind of knowing when to cut bait on guys, or like not. They didn't fall into the Blackhawks trap of just overpaying players for the sake of doing so to keep them in the fold, like legacy type contracts.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I say that as they've brought back a couple guys from previous cup runs. McDonough, the Checking guy they brought back from Seattle, Yanni Gord. So, take that for what it's worth. And they extended McDonough this time around too. But they've retooled as they went and plugged holes, filled it. A lot of good players still on the team. I think they're the best team in the East this year.
Now, here's a quick question for you.
Okay.
If you were just on top of team management, there was a clip that came out yesterday of Max Crosby with the Raiders. And he's kind of like, I haven't really talked to them. Would you trade him if you're the Vegas Raiders?
Yeah. Your team's terrible. Like, get something for him. More draft picks.
Yeah.
Start over.
Now's the time.
Like, you will not be any worse than you were this year. Having him on your team serves no purpose. Apart from, I would say, getting fans in the stadium. But do they struggle to do that in Vegas? Between the tourist and local elements?
I was going to say, the opposing side does pretty well.
That's what I mean. So, I'm sure Mark Davis is, I'm sure he's fine in that aspect. So, yeah, I would trade him 100%. I don't even think it should be a question.
I'm with you. To the NFC. Get him out of there. Also, Jesse Minter, Chargers defensive coordinator, has canceled the scheduled meeting with the Cleveland Browns today.
Oh, boy. The Browns might not have a coach at this rate. Nobody wants to coach. Nobody wants to coach there.
They might hit the college ranks and try to find someone. Yeah, that's interesting.
Kiffin.
I do think that Jesse Minter will end up with the Baltimore Ravens. And also, can I tell you, Mike McDaniel, nothing official yet with the Chargers.
Really?
Yeah. It's like they've agreed, but he might still, like, if a head coaching job pops up, he'd be interested.
Just not the Browns head coaching job.
He withdrew from that race. So
Yeah.
he's out of that one. What
other ones did he interview for? I had circled Atlanta as a maybe landing spot for McDaniel, but obviously they land Stefanski, which is a good get. I think he's a really good coach, even if Baker Mayfield maybe disagrees. But
phone works both ways, as Joe Thomas says. You
Yeah.
could have called him. I would say that I have a fear that the Raiders hire McDaniel, pair him up with Fernando Mendoza, Bowers, and Genti. Especially after it's like rumored that he's agreed to join the Chargers. Oh, Duke.
Just really stick it to him.
That would just, the rivalry would be great because it does look like Jesse Minter's going to head. But I think that the Vegas Raiders should be looking at Kubiak out of Seattle, their offensive coordinator. I think that'd be a smart move, especially just all the success they're having right now. And then he could bring their special teams coordinator, Jim Harbaugh's son, to run special teams. If he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up next on the Lowdown with Low Tide, I got the tweet from Declan Kruger. They'll be joined by Seth Rohrbaugh, covers the Penguins, for the Tribune Review. They'll also have Bagged Milk on the program and Declan CAA. Good night, some college basketball. On the Jason Greger show today, we'll have Landon Ferraro, former NHLer, Olympian, pre- and post-game analyst. David Owens will be by, talk some Sherbrooke Liquors Thirsty Thursday. I don't know what the drink is today, but we'll find out at 2:40. TR will be by for one segment only because, of course, he's on the Shoresy Tour down in Calgary. Very busy day there in Edmonton tomorrow night, but taking on Flames alumni this evening. We'll have Connor Unger, Bakersfield Condors goaltender. Heck of a run with the Condors. Colin Livingston will be by. We'll head out to Pittsburgh as well, talk some Penguins. We'll have Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. So lots to get to today here on the Jason Greger Show in Sports 1440. Keep it locked. Of course, pregame coverage getting going at 6 o'clock. Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro once again. MTR says the Chargers won't land anyone, then pivot back to Greg Roman. I think the Raiders should hire Greg Roman as their head coach. Really get Ashton Genti involved. Make him the focal point of that offense and just pound the rock, run the ball. That would be devastating if it happened. MTR. Anywho, music means we're done. We'll take our 23-hour break. Tomorrow on the show, we'll get you ready for the week in the NFL, recap Oilers Penguins, and we'll have a $50 gift card to First Round up for grabs that we'll give away as well. So make sure you keep it locked here on Sports 1440 for the Duke, the intern, and Fenwick. I'm Connor Halley. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Check the podcast if you missed it. Up next, it's the Lowdown Flow Tide. But first, the Sports 1440 update with Brandon Douglas, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta.
This is a sports.
Beef Jerky online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com.
This is a sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers. They welcome in the Pittsburgh Penguins to Rogers Place tonight. Tristan Jarry going to go up against his old clubs, the starting goaltender for Edmonton. Puck drop just after 7. Pre-game coverage starting right here in Sports 1440 at 6. Around the rest of the NHL, 7 games, including the Bruins hosting Vegas. Sabres are in Montreal. Hurricanes going up against the Blackhawks. Stars play the Jackets. Preds host the Sens. Panthers are in Winnipeg. And the Nightcap has Detroit visiting the Minnesota Wild. Lone game on the PWHL schedule. Toronto taking on Vancouver from the West Coast. And in the association, 8 games total, including the Sixers hosting Houston, Denver's in Washington, Dallas going up against Golden State. Bulls play Minnesota, and a battle of LA in one of the nightcap games. Clippers hosting the Lakers. NFL MVP finalists via the Associated Press have been announced. Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, and Matt Stafford are your 5 finalists. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Brandon Douglas. That's your Sports 1440 update.